You joked with the stray cat you took in calling her a little perv, said she peeked at you every night while you showered and tomorrow you were getting her spayed. But the very next day you got a random promotion and a raise, and the cold CEO started giving you the strangest looks. That day on your way home you ran into a little cat that kept circling around you. You figured she was just some homeless stray and decided to take her home. But the cat freaked out and started meowing at you nonstop. Like she was saying, back off you little punk, who do you think you are? But you ignored her and just tossed her in the car. Then warned her no peeing or pooping anywhere in this car. The second those words came out, the cat absolutely lost it. You blinked in surprise. Since when do cats understand what people say? The cat shot you a look like you were the dumbest person alive. Then quietly lay back down, and stopped paying attention to you and you didn't think much of it. You just kept on driving since stray cats can carry all kinds of diseases. You decided to take her to the vet first for a checkup, and the nurse at the clinic was carefully running through all kinds of tests on the cat when she suddenly frowned. Hey cutie, your little girl here is already at the age where she goes into heat. Do you want to get her spayed? And hearing that you felt kind of lost? I just picked this cat up off the street, isn't it a little too harsh to spay her already? As you said that you looked down at the cat and saw her hiding under a table nearby, baring her teeth at you like she was saying, who are you calling in heat? Your whole family is in heat. That moment left you the doctor and the nurse all completely speechless, so since she clearly doesn't want it, let's just drop it for now, and after finishing up the basic checkup, you took the cat back home and pointed toward the house in front of you. This is your new home from now on, so don't cause any trouble, and make sure you help me catch mice. Okay? The cat let out one dismissive meow in your direction, then jumped straight onto the couch and flopped down like she owned the place, and you were like, no way! Does this cat have main character energy? You shook your head with a helpless sigh, but still went over and picked her up. The second you did, the cat started squirming like crazy in your arms, meowing nonstop like she was cussing you out. But you straight up ignored her struggling because the nurse at the vet told you, cats are always a little scared of new people on their first day home, so the pushback was totally normal and she'd warm up once she got used to the place. You touched your nose with a confident smirk, completely sold on that idea. After giving the cat a quick bath, she looked a whole lot cleaner. Not a single messy hair in sight, and you nodded with satisfaction. Then carried her to the living room and pointed out the litter box and cat treats, showing her how to use everything. The cat was incredibly smart. You only had to show her each thing once, and she had it figured out, which made you really happy. You went through everything one full time before you finally felt at ease. It was July and the heat outside was absolutely brutal. Running around with a cat had left you completely drenched in sweat. You were sticky all over and felt disgusting, so a shower was definitely happening. You grabbed a change of clothes and headed into the bathroom, and 10 minutes later you heard a click as you twisted open the bathroom door handle, and the cat who had heard the noise was still lazily stretched out on the couch without moving. It wasn't until she heard your footsteps getting closer that she finally lifted her head and glanced over. But the moment she looked, her eyes went wide as saucers because there you were in a pair of loud floral shorts, shirt completely off, and those 8-pack abs were burned straight into her eyes. The cat let out a startled meow in your direction and immediately spun her head away, like she was saying, you absolute freak. Put some clothes on right now, and when she meowed at you, you didn't think anything of it and just sat right down next to her, scooping her up onto your lap, and the cat jumped at your sudden move, squirming with everything she had trying to break free from your grip, but tiny and weak as she was, there was no way she could overpower you. When the cat finally stopped wriggling, you figured she had come around and accepted you, so you happily started petting her, and that impossibly soft fur under your big hands grew even silkier with every stroke. Meow. A warm, tingling wave of bliss suddenly washed over her, and the cat melted completely limp across your thighs. A soft, rumbling purr rising from her throat on its own as she sank into a look of pure contentment. Hey Snowball, just so you know, I am your owner now, so you better start listening to me. You kept stroking her belly, talking away to yourself. And the moment she heard that the cat snapped right out of it, you really think a little nobody like you gets to be my owner? She was about to fire back, when your other hand pressed down gently on her chin, and she felt like electricity was shooting through her whole body, every inch of her buzzing with that warm, tingling feeling until she completely lost her train of thought. Running purely on instinct, now she could only let out soft, melodic little meows. Fine. The only reason I am letting this slide is because you are really good with your hands, so I will let the whole owner comment go this time. Meanwhile, over at Grandview Corporation, things had completely blown up. Every senior executive had been called into an urgent secret meeting, all because their CEO, Lily Chen, had suddenly vanished. Lily Chen was the founder of Grandview Corporation, an MIT graduate, and a powerhouse controlling billions in assets back home, but a freak accident had turned her into a cat. And just when she was at her lowest point, she spotted your Grandview Corporation employee badge, thinking she was finally going to be saved, only for you, this clueless guy, to mistake her for a stray. Take her home and then talk about getting her spayed. And on top of that, you had the nerve to call yourself her owner. Give me a break, you absolute clown. You are so dead. And right then, seeing the little cat on your lap making that blissful little face, your hands naturally sped up a little, and the tingling sensation overwhelmed Lily so completely, it felt like she had floated straight up to heaven. Oh, you annoying little nobody, don't think this means I'm letting you off the hook. The second I get my human body back, I will make your legs go completely weak. You looked down at the little cat meowing away on your lap and found yourself thinking, look at you all white from head to toe. I am gonna call you Snowball. You said it with a proud grin. Honestly, I am kind of a genius when it comes to names. When you suddenly let go, she could not explain it, but there was this strange, hollow feeling in her chest. Lily hated that feeling and she looked up again, only to find you still sitting there totally zoned out, so she let out an annoyed meow at you. Hearing Snowball's voice snapped you right back to reality. You looked down and saw Snowball glaring at you with this intense stare, full of deep frustration like a wife who wasn't getting enough attention from her husband. You were honestly taken aback by how human this little furball was acting, but you didn't overthink it and just went right back to petting her. Meow, 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 that warm, tingling wave of bliss rushed back through her again, and Lily closed her eyes in pure pleasure once more, a soft purr escaping her throat without her even meaning to, as she rolled over, shifted into a more comfortable position, and settled back onto your thighs, looking totally relaxed. The picture of absolute contentment, and even though she knew this was embarrassing, she just could not help it because it felt way too good after petting Snowball for a while longer. You finally stopped and glanced over at the clock on the wall. It was already 9, which meant your food delivery was probably almost here. You started wondering to yourself what breed Snowball even was, and as the thought crossed your mind, you grabbed her right off your lap and lifted her up, and that sudden weightless feeling made her let out a little yelp, and when she looked up she saw it was you dangling her in the air. Put me down right now, do you hear me? Lily was going off on you at the top of her lungs, but no matter how much she screamed, all that came out were tiny little kitten squeaks. Haha, Snowball. I had no idea you were such a little scaredy cat. Scaredy cat my foot. You and your whole family are scaredy cats, and when I turn back, I'm going to make you suffer, and she swore it to herself right then and there. Suddenly a knock at the door rang out and you set Snowball down. Opened it, and sure enough it was the delivery driver, and after thanking him, you brought the food to the couch, sat down and popped the box open, and the rich smell of spicy chicken filled every corner of the living room. Lily, who had been napping on the couch, caught a whiff of the meat, and immediately perked right up because ever since she turned into a cat, she had gone almost a full day without eating anything, and she was starving. Staring at the food right in front of her, she swallowed involuntarily like her body had a mind of its own. You had a feeling someone was watching you. You turned around and caught Snowball staring hard at the takeout container in your hands. You immediately felt bad because you had been so caught up eating. You completely forgot about Snowball. Hey, sorry about that, Snowball. Let me grab your cat food real quick. And with that, you set your food down, got up and went to the bedroom to grab a bag of cat food, and after scooping some into a bowl, you picked Snowball up and brought her over. Let go of me, you jerk, Lily hollered, kicking and flailing the whole time, but no matter how much her paws flew around, she could not break free from that big wide hand. Hey, Snowball, knock it off. You pretended to be stern and scolded her with a straight face. Lily was completely done on the inside because if cats could roll their eyes, she would have rolled hers hard enough to knock this clown out cold. Okay, Snowball, see, this is your cat food. Whenever you are hungry, you eat this, got it? You held her in one hand and pointed at the cat food with the other. But no matter how long you waited, Snowball flat out refused to touch the cat food. You found that kind of weird, and wondered if maybe she was too shy to eat in front of you. You muttered to yourself, all right then, Snowball, I will leave you alone to eat. I am gonna go finish my dinner too. And with that, you let go of Snowball, thinking she just needed some space to get comfortable, but the second you let her go, Snowball bolted straight to the couch and flopped down, and you felt a little awkward. She probably just needed time to warm up to things since any new environment takes some getting used to. You reassured yourself and decided to stop worrying about her. You got up, walked to the couch, and dug into your food. Meanwhile, Lily was lying on the couch watching you shove food into your mouth bite after bite. Drool running down the corner of her own mouth as she mentally cursed out every single one of your ancestors. This clown is over there stuffing his face with actual food while making me eat cat food. He is seriously not human. He is just a complete and total lowlife. Lily was grinding her teeth in pure rage, and a little while after you finished eating, you went to check on Snowball, and found that Lily had curled up in a corner under the table, all tucked in and fast asleep and looking at that vulnerable little sleeping position. You shook your head with a helpless smile. It seemed like you two still had a ways to go before really bonding. But even so, you were confident you could win Snowball over little by little. If Lily knew you were thinking that she would probably bite you hard enough to draw blood. Seriously, what is wrong with you? You little nobody, you think you get to bond with me. You already ran your hands all over me and had the audacity to call yourself my owner. You are so gonna get it, you little punk, once I turn back into myself. I'm going to make you pay for all of this. And right then, after being manhandled all day, Lily was lying there exhausted, quietly trying to figure out how to turn back into herself, and if she could just get a do-over, she would make absolutely sure this little clown learned that a CEO is not just something you go around touching. Before she knew it, the night had gotten late, and the sound of your steady breathing drifted from the bedroom, and Lily slowly opened her eyes and told herself she absolutely could not give up this easy. There was no way she was going to be your pet for the rest of her life, and as she thought about it, she remembered in all those dramas she used to watch the main characters always unlock their powers in life or death moments. Maybe she could try that herself, so Lily headed to the bathroom, and dunked her head straight into the sink, and instantly felt a suffocating rush hit her. But after trying it several times and nearly drowning herself, absolutely nothing changed. Meow, meow, meow! A wave of crushing defeat slammed right into Lily. Was she really just going to spend the rest of her life as this clown's pet? Just as Lily was about to give up, a sudden flash of white light burst through, and when Lily opened her eyes again, the whole world looked different. Staring back at her from the mirror was a breathtakingly beautiful face. Wait, am I actually back? Lily stared at her own reflection, barely believing it, and once she snapped out of it, she realized she was completely bare, and that stunning face of hers flushed a deep shade of red, and she looked around the room, and finding nothing to cover up with, Lily had no choice but to throw on the dirty clothes you had just changed out of. After throwing something on, Lily turned and glanced toward your room. You little nobody, every single thing you put me through today, I am going to take it all back with interest, and with that, Lily walked out without looking back. Half an hour later, Lily was sitting in the back of a black Rolls Royce. Lily? Where on earth did you disappear? To her best friend Rachel asked with a worried look from beside her. Hearing her best friend ask, Lily honestly had no idea what to say. She could not exactly tell her she had turned into a cat and gotten picked up by some weirdo, so she threw out the first excuse she could think of. My phone just died on me while I was out, so I had no way to reach you all evening, and hearing that, Rachel could not help but roll her eyes. Girl, do you even believe that yourself? Rachel said, looking completely over it, and by the way, unless I am seeing things, that jacket you are wearing is definitely a men's cut, right? Lily froze for a second, and then it hit her. She was still wearing that clown's clothes. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe there is actually a guy out there who managed to catch our Ice Queen CEO's eye. You even pulled a disappearing act on us all. I bet you spent the whole time going on a date with him. Rachel teased, and the moment she heard it, Lily's face went completely red. She whipped around and glared at Rachel. Will you just keep quiet? Nobody asked you. And then turned away and refused to look at her again. And the very next morning, you woke up and immediately noticed Snowball was gone, and you searched every corner of the apartment, but found nothing, and with no other option, you had to head to work. Meanwhile, over at Grandview Corporation in the CEO's office, Lily was sitting in her chair carefully reading through a stack of employee profiles. She flipped through for what felt like forever, until one employee's file suddenly caught her eye. Well, I finally tracked you down, you little punk. Time flew by, and before long it was the end of the workday, and just as you slung your bag over your shoulder and got ready to leave, a tall, slender figure appeared in a corner not far away, staring at you with a look that was impossible to read. And at the same time, finance team lead Kyle Brooks, who had just been about to head home himself, spotted Lily and immediately scrambled over.